One of the words that we haven't used is emotion. So we're talking about activation, we're talking about motivation, we're talking about why people aren't motivated, how to get them to meet their goals. We haven't used this word emotion. And when people get activated, they have emotions. So let's talk a little bit about sensation-based motivation coaching, because one of the big tenets around it is the ability to be with any kind of emotional experience. And it's because we take an emotion which has two parts. It has thoughts and it has sensations. So an emotion is thoughts and sensations all wound up together. You know, some coaches talk about the stories people tell, right? So we'll be talking about emotional experiences and the stories people tell. And it becomes unbelievably difficult to work with the story that a client is telling when we are working with the emotional content, but not taking the base level components of an emotion and that content. It makes it way easier to work with emotions when we do that.
Oh, totally. If we're at the place where we are trying to wrestle the story of an activated emotion with a client, we're already too far gone.
Yeah, clients get defensive, and then we as the coach become part of their story. We become part of the villain story or the victim story because they're getting defensive against our techniques. Yeah. Which goes back to what you were talking about. It happens all the time in coaching. And then, you know, we say, for example, that person was just not ready, or that person wasn't an ideal client, when in fact, we did not know how to navigate their emotional experience.
Yeah, you think, I mean, that happens with us, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, we could be having a conversation at home, and one of us could be activated for some reason. And when we teach this stuff, we live this stuff, this is who we are. And even us, when we're trying to unravel the emotion at the level of the story, it just doesn't work. We have to go deeper. Even, you know, this is why it's so important that that this is our mission, to share these opportunities, these techniques, these methodologies with people, because I've certainly experienced stuckness in my life to a huge degree. You could probably say the same thing. And I know that before we understood and we really used these methodologies in a systemized way, we would be stuck with other people too, and helping them to progress. But understanding this, how to work in the sensory base, is the sensation base, is so critical to help people break through that story in a very non-judgmental way.
Right, because sensations are something that are inarguable. You know, I might ask you, how do you feel in your belly right now? And you might say, I feel constricted. And I can't argue with that. That's your experience. That's what you're saying. So I'm going to take that as what's happening. It makes it actually very easy to have a conversation. Whereas if you said, I'm happy, and I thought maybe, you know, that doesn't jive, I'm not feeling that from you, then maybe there would be a dissonance. But when somebody gives their sensory experience, it's this inarguable experience for them.
Yeah.